and I'll turn right back around. Give me one reason to stay here, and I'll turn right back around.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Reckoning Monologues. Today I want to talk about this thread, new player experience reward scenarios. And this is only Lord Braxton's third post, but he brings up an issue that's worth a few minutes at least. He says, I feel like as a new player, the flow of progression is kind of a mess. The focus on open world RVR over scenarios really hurts.
Ouch, baby.
I get that. I get that. I sympathize, man. I really do, because the open world RVR, which is going to be the subject of the next Reckoning Monologues, I've already decided, I think is kind of stagnated and boring. However, I will come back to that later. When I played in 2020, scenario groups popped reliably. This was the meat of the game. Now see, this guy, this guy's after my own heart here. I've always been a major proponent of scenario play. I've always tried to promote scenario play as the most fun aspect of the game. Some people like the open RVR, the Zergfest. Some people like cities. It's not that I dislike fighting an open RVR. I've just always preferred the small scale aspect of scenarios. And I've always supported whatever could be done to help promote that aspect of the game. And this guy is basically saying the same thing. He goes on to say you actually get balanced team members in a mode where the fights are small enough that your contribution feels meaningful. I think that's just an elongated way to say they're more fun. Scenarios are more fun.
Yeah, baby! Yeah.
And again, I agree. But he says they were a ton of fun and what I wanted to come back to. The queue times now are brutal, and I was shocked when I figured out that's because most of the population is doing RVR. We come to his point. Then I realized the renown gain was much higher in RVR. Alright, let me talk about that for a moment before I get to the kicker. I think the renown gains in RVR would naturally be higher and would naturally have to be higher, and that's simply because of the scale of the fighting that goes on. You could bump renown gain in scenarios by 10%, 20%. I don't think that would necessarily be a bad change, a bad alteration. Or you could again make scenarios more fun or more attractive to people simply by putting something unique, some sort of unique reward in scenarios that you can't get anywhere else. And it used to be that way.
Do I make you horny, baby?
It used to be that way in the time frame that he's talking about here. But everything is, I've heard the phrase for a few years now, vanilla WoW. People talk about vanilla WoW, whatever the fuck that meant. But the same thing happened here. It's like vanilla ROR. All the rewards for all of the different venues that people can go in and fight are all the same, which negates the need to do anything except run around in Prague, chasing each other, around Martyr Square. So if you put some form of uniqueness back into scenarios, you could draw people into them, just like the point I've made about cities. If you make something unique about cities, people will go and do them.
You shut your mouth, you bastard!
Okay, but not to beat a dead horse. Now here's the last thing I want to talk about in regard to this thread and his points. He said, sadly, this will probably turn my small group away again soon, but I feel like we would have stuck around. Okay. Now this is the heart of the issue. This is where the guy's actually saying, give me one reason to stay here. As I put in the title crawl. He talks about his memory. He takes the time to start a forum post. And he talks about his memories of the game in years prior, how much he enjoyed it, how much he loved scenarios. He says he came back to the game looking for that same kind of experience, and it isn't here. And he wants to stay, but if this is how it's going to be, he's going to take his little band of merry men and move on. Alright, in the grand scheme of things, losing half a dozen guys at any one time might not seem to be that big a deal. Guys come and go all the time. That's the short version. That's the short-term version of looking at something like this. I want to stay here, but why? Why should I? If this is how the system is going to run. Okay, the logical extrapolation from that point is, if these guys leave, most people won't notice. But if that trend continues, eventually people will. The trickle effect adds up. You lose a little bit here, a little bit there, and the next thing you know, you don't have enough money to take your girlfriend out, and she's banging some guy down the street.
This is my Italian confidential secretary. Her name is Alata. Alata for China.
Come again?
A lot of vagina.
Okay, that's how the trickle effect works. And and the same fate could await all of us. Now, I'm not trying to be apocalyptic here. I'm not saying this will happen, because actually I've said the opposite in times past, that I think there will always be, as long as this server's operating, there will be a core group of people who will play the game. But if you take this guy's post, this guy's thread, and you extrapolate it over time, eventually that's all that's going to be left, is that core group of people who will be playing until the apocalypse, right? Where's the fun in that? New players is the lifeblood of any game, especially an MMO game. New players, return players, people who want to hang out and hang around for a while. That's the lifeblood of any MMO game. It has to be. You can't tell me, well, look, we don't like the things you say, so we're just going to disagree. Okay, fine. But you cannot honestly tell me or anyone else that if 6 people leave here, 12 people leave there, another guild leaves here, that eventually that won't add up, and to where the only people that are still playing is a group of about 50 or 60 or so guys that are standing around Martyr Square in Prague, staring at each other wondering, hey, where did all the cannon fodder go? I see this as an easy problem to fix, and that the manner to fix it is simple, just as I talked about with cities. You don't have to up the renown on scenarios. You don't have to increase the percentage that people get. Just make something unique. Put something unique back into scenarios that you can only get playing scenarios, and people will play them. Now, the matchmaking system has already been fixed, and I want to point that out because I thought the devs did a great job with the matchmaking system. But that does not affect, or that did not address the issue of getting people to play in the same sense that that uniqueness would. If you build it, they will come. As always, thanks for watching.